Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk, Rockin' George, out here in my lab where I do what I do for you. I got a nice lesson for you today. I bumped into an old friend. Look what I found. Yeah, remember meditation? Not the one with Joe Cuban, but my lessons in meditation. I found an old friend I'm gonna bring back to you. Hope I can get you some updates. Let's go. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in to receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right thinking mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinker's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, and that's what I'm on, is that all right thinkers know thyself. So I'm here daily to give you the information to help you do just that. And as a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going? Let's get there. So I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. Let's do what we do. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. It's okay. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself and always to my yacht. Be true. I'm going to the first page, page 10 in my book to read about one of my favorite subjects, meditation. It's called The Glorious Light of Meditation, and the introduction is Ra Aku, the Glorious Light, first formal meditation in history. Well, I thought that, again, if you open up with I thought, that means you didn't know. Stop doing that. Pay attention and listen, and then you will know. You won't have to thought, please. So, as a student, stop with the I thoughts, listen, learn, and then you can know. Moving on. Ancient meditation for what? Modern times. Perfect. Why? I'm using old, ancient concepts in modern times. Told you I took it, dusted off. I got the secrets of the pyramids, Jack. Okay, and I'm using it for what? A more positive attitude, which is what enlightening my right thinkers to what themselves. That's what it's intended for. That's how I'm using it. Let's go. But meditation is an important part. I got over 10 years of practicing. Let's go. So the art of meditation is a yoga discipline. I'm seeing, how can we have a generation of disciplined people where you can't even discipline them? You can't whoop your kid no more, so that's another issue. But discipline means just that, inflicting pain when they don't do what you need them to do. That's discipline. That ain't abuse, but some people take it to the next level. But we based our whole yoga discipline concepts from ancients, which was practiced where in ancient Egypt for the purpose of what? Promoting spiritual enlightenment. That's what I do for you. All I'm doing is promoting spiritual enlightenment, knowledge about God, enlightening you to something you may thought you knew. No, I'm giving you God knowledge. Simple. While it is not, here we go, it is not a religion, but it is a tool used by who? Religious and even non-religious spiritual seekers. Where? So they can go within to what? Discover their higher consciousness, raising your level. Knowledge of self is higher conscious. This book right here got a lot of information here, so I'm gonna just give you a few excerpts out of it. But I think again, I'm gonna cherry pick the stuff that I think is relevant to what I'm trying to get across. So right now, I make my point with an old concept that still works. Like y'all tell me, the blood of Jesus. Oh, meditation and knowledge of self always works. Watch this. Now, where we at? This book that presents the Kemetic ancient Egyptian teachings, their ideas related to the practice of meditation. I gave a lesson before. It sounds familiar to me. But yoga, again, is the practice of mental, physical, and spiritual disciplines, mind, body, and soul, all working as one, which lead to what? The self-control, self-discovery. How? By purifying the mind, body, and spirit so as to discover your deeper spiritual essence, which lies within every human being and subject in the universe. And stop right there 1 second. It don't discriminate. The philosophy and discipline don't care who follow it. It's just there to be followed. So that's the function of principles. If you have them, you gotta live by them. Moving on. We know we got rules. You gotta live by it. Why haven't you break them? Come on, man. It's the same thing philosophically within yourself. If what your principle says good and you should do this, if you don't do that, you have to suffer this. Come on now. You get rewarded for doing this. You're going to get punished for doing this. That's the way it is. Always been that way. And it ain't going to change for you or nobody else. So get with the movement or you get run over by the movement. Understand that. Nature don't care. Philosophies and principles don't care. Moving on. In essence, the goal of yoga practice is what? Is to unite, or we call yoking, one's individual conscious, you, with your higher universal, or what they call cosmic consciousness, or God, however you want to look at it, but it's all mental. If you're stuck in the belief world, you just believe and believe, you believe you're a human being, you're going to be human, and you're going to stay right here. When you get to know thyself, you know that you're God, and that's your ticket out of here. They know that too. So nonetheless, I ain't got time to play that mind game with y'all. I'm trying to teach a meditative concept that you can practice for yourself, and you're starting to see for yourself the matrix and how it is, and you'll figure it out, hopefully. So therefore, therefore, our ancient Egyptian religious practice, especially in terms of what? Rituals and other practices of the ancient Egyptian temple system. Ain't that time they saying belief. Just saying. As she taught Netta, study the hidden God. Again, he's hidden where? Inside you. He ain't hidden up there. You can't find nothing up there. We moving on. They knew that way back then. I'm a smarter than them. The way of the what? The hidden supreme being. That's God. You're looking for him. Where he at? Ding, ding, ding. Every enlightened Buddha, every enlightened anybody would tell you God is within them. If you want to get religious, they'll tell you, well, God's up in heaven, you know. You can yeah, okay, don't listen to them. Moving on. Now, it may be termed as a yoga system. Anything that's going to get you to God, and that's what the purpose of religion is, to get you to God, but they want to do it on their terms. It was a way of life for our ancients. You never heard them say, now, wherever you go and get something, they take donations. I understand that. But when you tell me you got to give me, no. We ain't gonna work on that premise. We didn't before, and I'm not working with that. I go to church, I'm gonna donate. Why? I'm here to get less, I'm here to contribute to the house. I understand all that good stuff, so I ain't caught up in the nonsense. Please understand that. If you giving something, if you're receiving something, that's reciprocity. They give you a little knowledge, you give them a few dollars. Simple. I ain't got a problem with that if that's what you choose to do. Moving on. So, I forgot. Okay, the job is what they're supposed to do. Link you back to the source. Okay. Now, in this sense, watch this. No, that term, the term as what? A yoga system. Again, no belief. Egyptian yoga In this sense, religion in its what? Purest. I tell you the drug analogy. Our ancestors gave it to you pure. Then when the Catholics got it, they started putting some cut on it. How about that? For layman term, yeah, they cutting stuff up. Okay, go back and get the pure, simple truth. Now, in its religion, in a disciplined system of a philosophy, when practiced, is called a religion, and it's the purest form is what? A yoga system, as it seeks to what? Unite people with their true and original source, God. That's all they lived for. Moving on. Got another lesson right here, almost done. But this is good stuff. Because if you understand our ancient philosophy, you will say, say nothing, but yeah, make you think a little bit. That's what my goal is, to make you think right. Not a little bit, but just think right. Why? And see what's really there. That's all. The disciplines, again, of yoga, and there was 5 of them, major categories. And these are yoga of wisdom. What that mean? That means you're going to study and get wisdom from that philosophy. And back in the day, it took you a year to master each one of these categories. Now, as a Mason, you wasn't going to get no degrees till after a year showing me you know what the hell you're doing with them. So, yeah, I was big on making sure you had it together. And you practice yoga wisdom, you can practice yoga of devotional love. That's you showing your devotion to God by what? Living right, worshiping Him, and doing the right thing. Most Christians are devoted to that. That's what they are, devoted to Christ. I ain't got a problem with that. We had Shimsu devoted to Haru. So following something, I have a problem with. Living by the tenets that they set forth. If you do that, we good to go. Why? Because that's what I do. I just follow the philosophy. That's all. I'm not making nothing up. And now you got, they call yoga of meditation, one of my favorites. Got 10 years or more as a practicing yogi. So, and the next one is meditation on a daily basis gets you into who? You. You spend so much time focusing on you, and you go into that next state, it's so much to you. You just engulf yourself in you, and you busy all the time. I know I am. So that's the concept with the meditation yoga. And the next one is, I keep trying to tell you, Tantra yoga. That's the Kama Sutras, different body form, different. I have yet to sit in the lotus position. I'm not crossing my leg. I'm not doing that. So, you no, I got the philosophy. I got the concept. Fully understand it. Practicing it, don't need to. Why? It ain't my thing. Simple. Simple, but I know it. I understand it. So, and my favorite, you ready? Yoga of selfless action. Doing something just because it's the right thing to do. I do it every day for you. Okay, so I ain't just, I do it. That's what I do. Now, within these categories, there are other subsidiary forms which are part of the what? Main disciplines. But everything is a discipline that you can practice and manifest. Now, the emphasis on the Osirian myth is on the what? Yoga of wisdom. I said is the queen bee. So she what? She represents wisdom and intuitive knowledge that every individual needs to master for themselves. Moving on. Yoga of devotional love and yoga of selfless action. Those are things that you recognize when you follow the Osirian myth. Okay? It's a life story. You learn about yourself, you learn about God, and an important point to remember is that all aspects of yoga can and should be used what? In an integral fashion. Knowing them, understanding them, then if you need to, if you have to, you can implement them. I can implement Tantra yoga. I just ain't trying to do that nonsense. All right, I told you before, I'm not flipping. I'm gonna do the one. I'm gonna do the mummy. I'm gonna lay back. I might give you a few other ones, but no, I'm not lotusing. Period. Moving on. But you have to understand them so you can use them when you need to. Knowing about something after the fact, knowing what you should have did, that's called money quarterbacking. Knowing what to do when you have to do it, that's called exercising and experience. And now you're manifesting. It ain't a thought no more. You put it to action when you need to, not after the act. Oh, I should have. Yeah, I should have had every year. and knock yourself in the head. I'll call them dummy slaps. But you can use them all in effect to what? To have an efficient and a harmonized spiritual movement in what? A practitioner. Therefore, while they may be in an area of special emphasis, I told you mine, they still have other elements and are bound by become part of what? Your yoga program as needed. Again, having something and not need it is okay. That's the beauty part of it. If you got it and never had to use it, police, I know my man, 20 years on service, never had to use his gun. He carried it every day. So again, having it not needed is a beautiful thing. But for example, while a yogian may place emphasis, watch this, on the yoga of wisdom, and I do, they may also practice devotional yoga, and I do, and meditation, and I do, yoga along with their wisdom studies. And again, I do. You can too. When you do it like that, you don't miss nothing. You got everything you need to what? Master oneself with philosophical disciplines that you can implement and manifest for yourself to be your best self. Don't need to practice a religion, call it nothing other than what it is, spiritual enlightenment. So the practice of any discipline, okay, whether it be Christianity, I don't care, I keep telling you that, any discipline that what? That leads to oneness, to God, count me in. I'll go visit any church and fellowship with anybody if they're doing God work. Simple. Okay. Now, anybody that leads to oneness with the supreme consciousness, God, can be called yoga. If you study, rationalize, and reflect upon your teachings, you are practicing yoga of wisdom. Again, I study, I practice what I learn, and I put it into use. That's getting better and mastering it, becoming it. Now, if you meditate, again, I do that, upon said teachings, and you're on your higher self, you are now practicing yoga meditation, which I do. When you understand how important a few minutes of meditation daily would do for you, ooh, buddy, life changing. Again, I did. Now I'll wrap it up for you. Appreciate you tuning in. If you practice rituals which identify you with what? With your spiritual nature, again, you are practicing now. They call it yoga of what? Ritual identification. You just like worshiping and rituals. They got a bunch of them for you. Okay, I got a book of rituals. Okay, for every little thing, there's a ritual. Trust me, which is part of what? Yoga of wisdom and yoga of devotional love of the divine. These are all the things that you need to have and understand so you can manifest for yourself. If you develop everything is you, your physical nature, I go to the gym every day, and your psychic energy centers, which is the chakras, when they all work in sync, your health is good, everything you're doing is good, you are practicing what I just showed you, serpent power, aka Kundalini or the Uranus. People used to call us the snake people because we had a serpent on top of our head on all our crowns. So we were called the snake people, okay? Yoga, which is part of, again, tantric yoga. Now, if you practice living, there you go. This is the main part about right thinking philosophy. You have to practice it living according to the teachings, not how you feel about it, not what you think about it. Live according to the teachings of ethical and moral behavior and selflessness. You are practicing right thinking philosophy. Yoga of action. Yeah, aka Maya or right thinking philosophy in your daily life. I show it to you every day to show you what it looks like. Simple. Now, wrapping it up. If you practice turning your attention toward the divine, which is fine. And most ministers, that's their job, is developing what? Love for the divine. My pastor has that undercover. Then it is called devotional yoga or yoga of divine love. Divine is God. And when you showing that kind of love, you're going to live, do, and be a certain way. So understand that. And you, the practitioner of yoga, is called yogian. male practitioner, and a yogini with the I is the female practitioner, and one who has attained. You can call yourself whatever, but until you attain the accumulation of yoga, meaning union with the divine, you haven't made that connection with your higher self. You just spinning your wheels. You're still in practice. Okay, you're still trying. But until you do that, watch this. It's called yogi. You're a yogi. Yogi. In this manner, yoga has been developed what into many disciplines which may be used in practice in what again in an integral fashion to what achieve the same goal, which is what you ready, enlightenment, to know, to get information that you didn't already have, and you practice it, manifest it. Now you know, and essentially anyone who has achieved this level of what higher consciousness, aka knowledge of self, know thyself, can be described, you ready, as a yogi, regardless of whatever path they use, Egyptian, Indian, Chinese, etc. You feel me? So they understand how it's done by any and everyone. Call it what you want, but the thing is to do it and to obtain what? That enlightenment. However, in the case of the Egyptian practice, we have a term we call Sema, Sema, that is actually the same in meaning as what? The familiar term yoga of India. We got the term yoga from the India. Watch this. And therefore, the aspirant should learn about all the five paths of the yoga, and then choose those that work for them, which is best suits him or her what personality, and practice them all in an integral, balanced way. Wrapping it up, I'm almost there. Stick with me a few more minutes. Now, watch the different names that you're going to hear all mean the same thing. Enlightenment, Niha, spiritual enlightenment, is a term used to describe, you ready, the highest level of spiritual awakening. There's a level that when you read, that's the seventh degree, the seventh level of the chakras. Now you are what? Spiritually enlightened. You know yourself through practice and mastery. It means attaining such a level of spiritual awareness that one discovers what? The underlying unity of the entire universe. You know all, as well as the fact that the source of all creation is the same source from which the innermost self within every human heart arises. We all need to know who we are. All forms of spiritual practice, watch this, are directed towards its goal of assisting every individual to discover their true essence of the universe, both externally in physical creation and internally within the human heart as the very root. Heart, mind, coherence. I keep teaching you that. Excuse me. Is the very root of what? Human consciousness. Thus, many terms, here we go, are used. Coming home right now, I'm bringing down the stretch. I'm like my girl, Sharika Jackson, run it. I'm about to kick it in gear. Used to describe the attainment of this goal of spiritual enlightenment and the eradication of what? Spiritual ignorance. If you're spiritually ignorant, you don't know yourself. So we're going to try to erase that by what? Give you knowledge of self. Said, know thyself. And some of these terms are, you ready? Spiritual enlightenment, resurrection, salvation, the kingdom of heaven. Sounds familiar? If you're Indian, it's moksha or liberation. If you're in Buddha, it's called Buddha consciousness. One with the Tao if you're Chinese. Self-realization. And my favorite, to know thyself. That's the lesson. That's my goal for all right thinkers, to get you in a point, in a position to do just that. Know thyself. That's the lesson. Oh, I got some more for you. But right now, in closing, may all right thinkers live to be 100 and me 100 minus a day. So I never know that right thinkers like you passed away.